Welcome to Richmond Kickers Weekly. My name is Darryl Grove, and I'm joined by a man whom did not fly all the way out to Tucson. His name is Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hello. I did not. I thought about it, but I really didn't think about it because, no, that was never going to happen.
If you had done that, you wouldn't have seen any goals.
I would not have.
Because it finished FC Tucson 0, Richmond Kickers 0.
Yes.
On the upside, this breaks the Kickers' 3-match losing streak, right? 0-0 draw away to Tucson. It's not what we really, really wanted for Christmas, but for summer Christmas, but it's at least not a defeat. So the losing streak is snapped.
Here is my answer to that, is that I'm not sure it was a 3-game losing streak. I think it might have been more, but that is indicative of the kind of current state of things.
But it is.
Yes.
The last team we beat was FC Tucson, 2-0 at home.
There we go.
Yeah, then I lost to Greenville Triumph, I lost to Orlando City away, I lost to North Texas at home, and then this draw with FC Tucson.
And US Open Cup.
Oh, US Open.
Yeah, you forget these things.
I'm looking at the League One table, and they've got the nice.
Yeah.
Actually, I like the form chart with the green for win and red for loss, and grey for draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's correct.
League One's approach to 0-0 draws is we just grey them out.
Exactly.
I'll say this: quite a lot of chances in this game, despite the 0-0 scoreline.
Yes.
I'll also say maybe Joe Gallardo should have scored for the Kickers.
Which one?
The one chance where it comes across to him, and he does a beautiful job of chest it down, then turn this way, that way, and then gets a shot off. I mean, he does well to create the chance for himself, but I think, there's an even better one, isn't there, where the long ball from Shinosky, defender misses it, and Gallardo is through.
Yeah, that's probably the chance.
Yeah, and still a first good touch, and then the keeper's out, and it's saved.
Yeah.
I changed my answer to the second one.
That is the correct way to approach this game, because I think the one you're talking about is the one where he chest controls it, beats some people, then gets a shot off that's deflected and goes off the bar.
Yes.
I'm not sure much else he could have done about that one.
Right.
But the one I think just
I already
before,
retracted. No need to bully me.
Just before the half, I wish I would have liked that one to go in. But I also think it would have been deserved, because I do think Gallardo, despite moving out wide, maybe had more of the ball than we've seen, or at least had more of the ball in advantageous spaces.
Yeah, there was even a moment, there's a chance early on, I think it's, when is it? It's about 10 minutes in. It's the Mwape chance.
Yeah.
It's Gallardo wide out on the left, and I think 3 players are drawn over to him, because I think he has a reputation in League One at this point where maybe teams are worried about him, and he's able to not beat 3 players with some fancy dribble. He just flicks it between them to Bame, and then Bame is able to square it to Mwape. So just the attention that he draws out on the left may be good. So what do you think of that move overall? Let's talk about the change to the team, right? Because it's been not in a positive or negative way. It's been predictable what the Kickers' shape and personnel will be, more or less, right? You could put good money every game on a midfield 3 of Maxi Rodriguez, Josh Hughes, and then Joe Gallardo, farther ahead. We didn't get that in this game.
No, I mean, there was a decent amount of change, as you've already alluded to, because you have Maxi still in his usual spot, but Retzlaff comes in as another central midfielder.
Which is interesting, right? Because I think of Retzlaff as the Maxi backup, so to see them both on the field at the same time, I thought might produce some interesting results. Maybe we'll talk about whether that worked or not later.
Sure. And then Bame, as you said, more of an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
Gallardo on the left,
normal spot, right?
Mwape on the right, and then Chin, who's been on the left, goes up top but is more of a central striker in this game.
And Jackson to the bench.
Yeah.
So you can get a kiss from Bulow in the post-match conference, but it doesn't mean you're going to start every week.
No. I mean, especially, to be fair, if that kiss was several weeks ago, and there weren't many goals since then.
It was. I just put a lot of stock in kisses.
Yeah. All right.
So how do we think it worked? We've sort of praised the Gallardo experiment, I guess we would call it. Is it something we would like to see keep on happening, or would you rather get the player I would argue is our most creative force back to the middle?
I think it worked. I really do. I think it worked in conjunction with Mwape on the right, because while that was theoretically where they were, I saw Mwape go central a lot. I even saw moments where he and Gallardo combined on the left, and I thought some of that mobility caused a lot of problems. I also think your earlier point about Tucson players paying attention to Gallardo, that either pulls people out of midfield, which did allow the Kickers to play through in a way that I think they haven't as many times in the past.
That's interesting. If he's our most marked player, or the player most people are scared of, then moving him wide literally moves opposition players out of the middle.
If they follow him. But if they don't, then it creates 1v1s, which he hasn't had, because now he is 1v1 with the defender. So I think that put him in a better situation. I don't know, though, if that was an intentional choice by David Bulow, as in something that they had kind of worked on and practiced and decided, or if it was more because we know Matthew Bolduc was injured, so wasn't available.
He would
in this
often
game.
Play on the wing.
Yeah, and I don't know how soon before kickoff. I don't actually know if he even traveled for this game, but I do know that looking at the bench, I believe Jackson was the only kind of purely attacking substitution they had.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that it was more of we have a significant number of central midfielders who could play in this game. We don't have nearly as many wide attackers, so we'll put Gallardo out wide, we'll put Mawape out wide, and we'll play 3 central midfielders.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Do you want to talk about those 3 central midfielders?
Sure.
How do we think the sort of the new look central midfield, at least for this Tucson game, of Rodriguez, Retzlaff, and Bain looked?
I thought Retzlaff especially looked good, and I think no disrespect to Hughes, but I thought just some of the mobility from Retzlaff and the way I felt like he got back to kind of support Maxi Rodriguez and to be another outlet for the center backs. I thought he did that a little bit faster because he's younger and probably a little bit faster.
So faster than Josh Hughes?
Yes.
Yeah. It is often a problem that Maxi Rodriguez receives the ball and then everybody else is kind of upfield looking to receive the pass. But it's almost like watching the US against Venezuela the other day, where there's a line of opposition players in between, and it's a lot on Maxi Rodriguez to try and find that pass, especially if the players haven't managed to get themselves open. So I think I am with you. I prefer when a player maybe comes deep and just gives us extra numbers in midfield like that.
But I also
in deep
thought
midfield for the pass. Yeah,
I got you. But I also think Maxi didn't drop nearly as deep either, at least not as routinely. And so I felt like on a number of occasions it was almost like a 4-2-3, maybe like a 4-2-2-1. I don't know, something like that. I'm missing a player in there, but I feel like you had
4-2-2-1 with Gallardo wide.
Yeah, something like that. But I think you had those 2 more holding midfielders deeper, more routinely, and I think that was intentional. I think it was to have more outlets when you're trying to play quickly and when you're trying to kind of possess the ball. It's not just Maxi dropping between 2 center backs and eventually Josh Hughes dropping back, but then you still only have 1 player to play through in the middle.
Yeah.
This gave you 2 players without losing Maxi, because I felt like the center backs, especially Connor Shinosky, looked to kind of play balls that were more difficult for defenses. I thought there was one in the 19th minute where the kickers basically Shinosky holds the ball and holds the ball, cuts it inside, plays a left-footed pass. It's a little sloppy, but again, this is where Retzlaff's mobility helped. Retzlaff is able to just get a toe poke to it. Yeah. He flicks it on to Bain, and then there's a counterattack that ends in a Richmond kicker's corner off of a good shot by Chin. So I felt like the kind of ability to combine through the middle was definitely facilitated by having another midfielder in there.
So Retzlaff, we liked. Retzlaff, excuse me. We liked. It's good to see him sort of in the team. One thing we didn't like so much was maybe the lack of aggression we saw from the kickers a few times. Are you with me on this?
Yeah, you're talking about the one that stands out as the Akwe, thinking the ball is going out of bounds, then it doesn't, it gets poked away, and he's basically completely out of position.
He tries to just shepherd it out, basically. He's way out on the left at the touchline, and instead a Tucson player just comes slide tackling through, all aggression.
Yeah.
The level of aggression is Akwe's at 10% and the Tucson player's at 110%.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I would say that I agree with you, but then I also think there were moments when I kind of didn't like some of the aggression that I saw, weirdly enough, because I think very early on, maybe inside the first 25 minutes or so, Maxi Rodriguez has to pick up a yellow card for a professional foul. He basically has to clip the player's heel because it's a counterattacking opportunity. And we've seen that before from Maxi Rodriguez, where he has to kind of pick up yellow cards to cover and prevent counterattacks, but that can easily lead to red cards.
But that's different to winning 50-50s aggression, right? That's more like desperation, professional foul tackles.
Yeah. I think it's just stood out to me as I don't love that it seems to be Maxi Rodriguez who has to pick up these yellows.
Well, yeah, because the thing, I don't know if we said this or not, but after that Akwe sort of casual shepherding out, there's a chance created that only ends up not being an actual shot on goal because Maxi Rodriguez comes sliding in at the last minute to block it. Right?
That's and to clarify, that's what triggered that thought about the yellow card, is because I thought if he weren't there, that could have been very bad. But also, if he mistimes that tackle, it's maybe a red card by itself, but could have also easily been a second yellow.
Well, it would be a penalty kick, but then the'd be no double jeopardy, so you can't get a straight red for the penalty kick. But it would be a yellow, which would be a second yellow, and it's bye-bye Maxi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
which we do not want, right? We want Maxi Rodriguez on the field.
We certainly do.
And he did then turn to Akwe and really sort of yell at him about just get there and kick it out, or just get there and don't be casual. Yeah. He's the captain. He should be doing that.
He should be, and should have in that moment, because it was very casual from Akwe. And I think,
which is weird, right? Because normally he's really good at going aggressively, stepping and winning. To me, it's kind of the possession mindset is a thing that I think makes players casual, makes them a bit more ponderous and a bit slower.
Why do you think that?
Just because I think that players prefer when they have the ball, the kickers are a little bit slow moving it forward, right? So you just get in that sort of slower mindset. And when it's all out defending and it's Akwe versus someone that's a 50-50, I would back him. But when he just thinks it's going out of bounds, he's just going a lot slower.
I understand why it looks that way, but At the same time, I don't think it should, though. Because
yeah, I don't think it should either.
But if you're trying to play like possession-style system where you keep the ball and keep it moving, then ideally your players would all be like super alert and aware and moving and constantly working because you got to be in open positions.
Well, ideally, and then we'd be top of USL League.
Well, I guess my point, though, simply is that like if you're saying like the possession system makes them a little bit slower, makes them a little bit more ponderous, I would be inclined to say that I think that's maybe not necessarily the possession system, but the way the possession system is being played.
Okay.
And thus maybe the lack of movement and the lack of maybe showing from some players is what's maybe slowing stuff down.
All right. I'm not going to disagree with you.
All right.
Yeah, because I think we're still, like, this is a system in progress, right? And it's definitely not perfected because otherwise we'd be winning a lot more games.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of winning a lot more games.
Yes.
Kickers are back at home.
They are.
On this Saturday evening. I don't know what date that is. Is it June 15th? It's 15th because Father's Day is 16th on the Sunday.
There you go.
7 p.m. kickoff, 7 p.m. Eastern, obviously, because we're on the East Coast. Chattanooga Red Wolves. That's the opponent. Currently 8th in USL League One. Played 10 games, 12 points. Kickers are 7th in USL League One, 12 points.
Yes.
Played 11 games. We played one game more. We have the same points.
This is true. Chattanooga Red Wolves have previously come to City Stadium this season. Kickers won 1-0. Daryl Grove, are you expecting more of the same?
I'm hoping for more of the same. I mean, this is sort of a turning point in the season.
Yes.
Would you agree? This will be the 12th game, so a dozen games. I think if we want to start moving up the table, this is a game we have to win.
Agreed.
Yeah?
100%. Yeah, I mean, if especially if you want to be in the playoffs, if that's a conversation that we're hoping to have, which it certainly is. I'm sure the Red Army would like to have that conversation and talk some trash in the postseason.
Top 4 make the playoffs, by the way.
Then you've got to start winning these types of games. I mean, yes, as you said, game in hand, so level on points, but you would...
Chattanooga have a game in hand.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you lose this game, now suddenly you're 3 points behind, and they've still played a game fewer. So I think this is a game that the Kickers have to win and really cannot afford to lose.
And there's also, it'd be 12 games in, like the system that David Bulow is implementing, you would hope to see it fully in place by game 12. It's long enough, right?
Yeah.
It's like a third of the season.
I would say so. I mean, I think you can make an argument that like you would have expected to see it even slightly earlier.
Yeah.
But I think
we did see glimpses, a few games in, and then it's maybe fallen off a little bit, and now we're back. So it's interesting to... I don't know. I'd almost like to see a chart of how we think the system's going.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like genuinely, you can only talk about like the system growing for so long before you've kind of got to see results, and that's where I would like to see a strong result this weekend would be ideal.
A strong result meaning a win.
Yes,
maybe a bit more extra green on the USL League One standings.
That would also be good.
Form guide. In terms of the lineup, obviously we don't have a say in it, but would you like to see, say, Joe Gallardo back out on the left again? Or would you like to see him back in his attacking midfield, central midfield role in the Kickers 4-3-3/4-1-4-1 shape?
I think I would. I'm surprised to say.
Left?
Yeah, I think
Even
I would.
If, say, Bolduc's fit and back?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would like to see Gallardo and Mwape on the wings. I think that just for the kind of problems that I mentioned previously, that I think defenders can either focus too much on Gallardo and that opens up space in the middle, or if not, then he's 1v1. But I also think Mwape coming over and like even just being a bit more central, I think it gets both of them more involved, and I think that's only a good thing.
All right.
The question then is who starts at kind of that center attacking midfield position.
Yeah, I mean, so we didn't talk about it too deeply, but Bame I think of as a much more defensive-oriented player than Joe Gallardo. I haven't seen that much of him, but that's my impression of him. So, I mean, just from the 90 minutes plus a couple of other appearances I've seen. So it seems odd to me that he starts there. There's not really another super creative player apart from, say, Justin Grove, who's young and hasn't played much. So I don't know. I don't know if I like that or not. But if we suddenly start winning doing that, I'm okay with it.
All right.
Is that fair?
Sure.
What about the thing of like...
I think you might have to answer this one. Which one do you want to go to next?
I think actually what I would like to see is Rodriguez, Hughes and Retzlaff all in central midfield.
All right.
Yeah.
How is that different than adding Bame in there?
It's not, but it's like all of like I would actually then move. I would like change the shape a little bit. Again, I'm not picking the team, so it's not going to happen. But instead of sort of Bame being the farthest forward player, I would almost have like a more classic 4-3-3 with Rodriguez, Hughes, and Retzlaff as a midfield triangle rather than one player farther forward.
All right. So then, how are you getting goals?
How am I getting goals?
Yeah.
Through possession, and then we open them up, and then we get it out wide to Gallardo, and he dribbles past a couple of people. He slips in Jackson or Chin, and it's 1-0 Richmond Kickers.
No disrespect to Hughes, but I hope that you are wrong in what you would like to see.
Would you like to see Rodriguez, Retzlaff, and Bame again?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think maybe give them another rep and see if that works a little better, if you find more combinations. Because I did think the kickers got some solid chances, and I think could again with maybe a few more reps. I do also think, strangely, it's kind of dependent on Connor Shinosky being in there, which is not necessarily a thing I would have thought I was going to say after the first game of the season.
We were very critical of Shinosky's lack of pace, essentially, in the first game. But he's essentially set up to fail by that sort of press and counter.
Absolutely. But I do think that he's the defender out of all four defenders who I think is most confident or willing to try to play some long balls on the ground.
Yeah.
Or not long balls, but you get my point. Like
some
20, 30 yard passes.
passes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
progress the ball upfield.
He really helps do that because then you don't have to have Maxey drop between the three, which kind of pulls, or between the two, which pulls everybody else back. If you can keep Maxey 15 yards further forward or even 10 yards further forward, then everybody else stays 10 yards further forward.
All right. Well, we don't get to pick the lineup. Coach David Buelow does. We'll see what he does on Saturday against Chattanooga Red Wolves. Once again, that's at City Stadium, 7 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Any closing thoughts, Mr. Taylor Rockwell?
Nope, that's it for
None
me.
at all. Okay. It's a rare occasion. Then I'll say thank you for taking the time to talk Richmond Kickers with me. And I think we thought about the Cactus Pricks, but let's have the Red Army play us out.